Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. It is exactly 9:50 a.m. and online I have two gorgeous young ladies. And that, of course, is you, Maryam Mkwanda, co-presenter here at Salaamedia, and Johara Hassem, co-founder of Heal for Hope, to talk about the amazing event we attended yesterday, the Salaamedia's inaugural Women's Symposium. And of course, we were all out there in full force, and we had some amazing minds, all women, mind you, lots of sisters in Islam. They were there, and real deep thinkers raised very pertinent and relevant issues. And obviously, it kind of gave us food for thought. And we do look forward to many more such events where we can truly network, share, exchange ideas, and truly just open up our minds to different issues, different ideas, and possibly even reshape our thinking. Salamu alaikum, Johara Hassem, and salamu alaikum, dearest Maryam Mkwanda. Welcome to the program.
Thank you,
Walaikum
Auntie
assalam
Julie.
wa
Wa alaikum
rahmatullahi wa
assalam.
barakatuh.
Guys, you looked gorgeous. I might add, so did all the other sisters there. Let's start with you, Maryam Okwanda. I know you were hard at work organizing this function. Tell us how you got involved. Obviously, management decided to truly honor women, and this was a brilliant way for them to come about with this symposium. Let's talk about your involvement, Mariam, and I see a beautiful picture of you on screen. And how did you go about with your planning?
Alhamdulillah, shukran and Auntie Julie for inviting me on the platform. Well, I guess I can say that this was an idea of the leaders for a while now. And Auntie roped me in. Auntie was like, okay, I have this idea. What do you think about it? Who could we get as guest speakers, etc. And then we took it from there. And I became part of the planning team or planning committee,
Right.
assisted with the speakers for the event, um, uh, giving input here and there regarding everything of the event. And alhamdulillah, it went well. Program planning, time planning and scheduling, even though that was a bit off. But, we always have to have room for such. But alhamdulillah, it was a successful event for an inaugural. And we definitely are looking forward to the next one, inshallah.
I mean, I know that you were very involved in also getting some amazing speakers to the event. So I need to really say hats off to you, Mariam. You had some very critical thinkers there, young people, but such deep thinkers. And I was sitting there absolutely amazed at what was being discussed. And obviously, the debating, for want of a better word, how that really then started debate regarding culture, how that plays out in our lives, how culture, which it shouldn't do, but it does sometimes shape the way we practice our religion. And then also the issue around which I talked about very briefly with Zai Jadwit this morning. And I said the conversations we as Muslim media and the ulama need to start having, and very robust but respectful conversations, is around the issue of LGBTQ, which Dr. Fatima Baba raised as well. Um, let's have your thoughts on it before I cross over to Johara. Mariam?
Yes, Auntie Julie, that's exactly what I was hoping to achieve yesterday by having this platform. We want it to be a safe space where people can talk about the pertinent issues and challenges that we are facing in our communities. uh, uh, Dr. Baba raised a very important point, and I also wanted to raise it again towards the end during our panel discussion. But unfortunately, due to time constraints, we were
Yeah.
not able to. We need to find a way to address these issues because it is rife and it's happening in our community, and we cannot overlook it. We cannot brush it under the carpet anymore. We have to address it. We cannot pretend that it's not there because it is the biggest current trending thing that is happening at the moment. And, if you don't talk about it, it's like you are part of the problem. So
Yeah.
talk about it, address it, and find solutions on how we are going to raise our kids in such a society. So hopefully, with the guests, we can still have programs on the radio where we can discuss these issues and
Absolutely.
find solutions.
Mm. Mariam, Johara, thank you for your patience. I'll be with you in literally a minute. What I do want to say here is we can't ignore this. It's happening
Yes.
all around us. It's, I wouldn't say necessarily rife in the Muslim community, but it is out there. And what Dr. Fatima Baba did raise, very, very importantly, I'm hoping you're going to raise it in one of your mid morning talks. Obviously, here on News and Views, it's a very fast and a pacey program, so we don't have enough time to go into detail. But perhaps you can raise it. And how do we sensitize our children in a responsible manner? How do we treat people in our community who are that way inclined, be they homosexuals, transgendered people, gays, whatever it is? How do we engage with them with respect? And where and how? We know, Alhamdulillah, we know what Allah has, what Allah tells us in the Quran about these issues. We just need to go to Surah Lut to know what the issues are. So we know what the religious dictates are, but we need to live with respect and harmony with people of other persuasions. And how do we sensitize our children um, in a respectful way? So I leave you with that, Mary. I'm so glad Dr. Fatima Baba raised that issue. And then also I leave you with another issue, Maryam, which I would like for you to raise on your show, and that is culture and religion. Where is the divide? And then the reality, the lived reality between African Muslims and other Muslims, Indian Muslims, Malay Muslims, white Muslims. There is that distinction. And how do we come together in love and respect? So, a quick word from you before I cross over to Johara.
Right. One of the reasons why we had a diverse crowd yesterday was to address such issues where it becomes like an us versus them or a them and us.
Absolutely.
Not even a versus. Just it always becomes a divide, and we don't want that. Because the Quran speaks about unity. The Quran speaks about how we were created into different nations and tribes so that we may know each other and so that we may live with each other. So, we need to stop having events whereby it's them only or them only, and they divide each other into groups. And you can't even come together. You feel shy because you feel like, oh no, those people are planning the event, so I can't attend because I don't look a certain way. I don't drive a
Right.
certain car. I come from a certain community, and that is nonsense. We are all different people for a reason, so that we may get to know each other and learn from each other and support one another in our different struggles. So yesterday's crowd was diverse. We also got to sit together as diverse people, as diverse Muslims from different backgrounds, and share our stories and share our thoughts and ideas. And I'm looking forward to seeing more such events with whereby there's diversity and whereby there's no division. There's no division and no divide to say, okay, because these are the influences. They're going to sit up at this table, and these people, and they're going to sit at that table. That should not even be an issue. You know,
Mm, mm.
when we plan an event, we should all just go there together, going to have fun, going to learn, going to network, meet new people, make new friends for life, inshallah.
Johara Hassem, my darling sister, thank you for your patience. You did a wonderful job as the MC at the function. How do you feel today, kind of looking back on yesterday, and what did you take away from the day?
Thank you, Auntie Maryam. Yesterday was
Auntie
absolutely
Julie.
invigorating. Oh, sorry, Auntie Julie. Yesterday was absolutely invigorating, and my mind is just on the function.
Absolutely, yes.
And yes, and I want to touch on what Miriam said. If we aren't having these conversations, then we are very much part of the problem. And I am so solution focused in my mindset in the work that I do. So this was a very refreshing event that I attended and to MC, because it was engaging with the speakers one-on-one, being able to introduce them and work that they do, which was really a huge honor. And my biggest takeaways from the event was the parallel lives that we live and how we project our lives through our very unique filters. And those filters are based on our experiences, our environment, our socioeconomic standing. And when these conversations are had, when we attempt at bridging these gaps, we can really affect change. And I like what Miriam said about how the Quran emphasizes that we should, unite. And we should, and that's what my takeaway was, that despite the fact that there were clear differences, we still have common goals to effect positive change in our communities. And that's what I look forward to doing more of.
Okay. Sadly for me, walked in a little late due to unforeseen circumstances. So I missed the first part of, the opening and the meet and greet, etc. However, I did try and catch up, but I must say there were some amazing women speakers, and the one lady that truly caught my attention absolutely and totally was Anisa. I think her surname is Mazimpaka. Please correct me, Maryam Mkwanda.
Correct. You are
She is a
absolutely
little
correct.
firebrand, absolute firebrand.
Actually, I went to stalk her on social media this morning because she moved me the most. And all I could think of, they say dynamite comes in small packages, and she looks like a little girl, not older than my 12-year-old daughter. And when she starts talking, you can hear that her mind, like you said, is a deep thinking mind, and she is the future. And as I was stalking her on social media, I thought to myself, we need more representation like her. And I'm so absolutely proud of the young woman that she is, who wears her hijab so proudly, who speaks her truth so confidently, and who isn't afraid to raise topics that go against the grain. And this is what I picked up from everything that she spoke about yesterday, with such diplomacy and hikmah. And it's that same kind of confidence that she projects in her social media. So very similar to you, Auntie Julie, she really caught all of my attention yesterday. And I'm so proud that our youth has people like her to represent them and to lead them.
Okay, before I talk some more about the interaction, I was so happy with the women feeling so safe in that space and really speaking their truth. I applaud Dr. Fatima Baba for having raised that very sensitive issue regarding the LGBTQ plus issue, and the response by Anisa and all other sisters in the room. There were so many other very relevant topics and discussions that were raised. And, you start the one you start off on one topic and you do digress along the way, because that's the nature of robust discussion. So, Alhamdulillah for that. And before I do ask both of you to talk some more, let me read out a post by Hannah Hatz. This is what she has to say. Yesterday, Alhamdulillah, I attended the Salaamedia annual Women Leadership Symposium as a guest speaker, along with many other dynamic women. What was different about this event in comparison to the many events I attend and speak at? The presence of our Black Muslim sisters, Alhamdulillah. She goes on to say, I cannot express enough how in awe I am of their kind hearts, tenacity, ambition, courage, intelligence, and beauty. There's no sense of superiority, and their humility is what I love most, albeit their achievements and credentials. I kid you not when I tell you these ladies are a force to be reckoned with, and it baffles me as to why there's still a racial and cultural gap between us when our dean supposed to have united us, sharing spaces and platforms with each other because they have so much to offer our society at large. It was a morning well spent indeed. Sad I couldn't stay for lunch, but grateful I was invited. Um, so there you have it. That's some comments by one of the guest speakers as well. Maryam, would you like to come in here and share some more thoughts with us on the speakers, on the comments that we received? And gosh, it was wonderful hearing people open up their hearts, their minds, their thoughts, knowing that they were in a very safe space.
Yes, Auntie Julie. Getting these speakers in particular was it was there for a reason, and people like Anissa were able to bring out the engagement from the crowd. Even though the same was supposed to happen during the panel discussion, the hands were already being raised, but unfortunately we couldn't continue. But
Yeah.
from what we got already, we see that there's a lot that needs to be discussed, and there are different views. There are opposing.
Okay. All right. In response to Hannah Hatz's post, Muniba Bayet has also sent us a message. She says, love your observation and so good to see others sharing these thoughts, embracing this beauty of diversity in unity for the pleasure of Allah teaches us so much. Alhamdulillah. Karabo Madiba says, this was a meeting of the giants indeed. If anything, I saw an opportunity to unite our differences for the salvation of our respective communities. And she goes on to say, I loved every moment of being there. What I'd like to add is I'm just sorry that we ran out of time. In future, please, Maryam, make it an all-day event, because I didn't have time to interact with the other sisters there. And that is what I wanted to do. I wanted to pick their minds. I wanted to hear who they are. I wanted to hear their stories. I wanted to be their sister in Islam. So I didn't have the time for that. But before I ask you to respond, both of you, I need to read something from Shafinaz Hassem, our darling author who presents a program here every 2 weeks. And she says, Salaamedia hosted their Women's Leadership Symposium this morning. Obviously, this was posted yesterday. With a truly wonderful lineup of speakers. Congratulations to the team on a successful and inspiring experience, robust discussions, and great energy. Hannah, would you like to come in here? Sorry, not Hannah, Johara.
I agree with Shafinaz. The conversations were robust, the speakers were strong, and there was representation of all of the spheres in a woman's life. The business representation, the spiritual representation, the emotional, mental representation. And I think that when we cater to all of our needs and inclusively bridge the gap between our cultures with the intention of our spiritual union. I think that we really can effect change, and I'm just so stoked and amped after this event to see how we all share similar sentiments about uniting our communities, about raising these issues. I was speaking to my husband this morning and reiterated how we become so cocooned. We don't realize the extent of our privilege until we have conversations like these, and until we can really step out of our consciousness and learn how we can extend ourselves to other communities while still serving our very own Muslim community at large. These are the necessary and important conversations to have. And then even though we ran out of time during the event, and it was a challenge having to navigate time and, keep speakers up to time, but I feel like we still had the opportunity to network with women in and out of our communities so that we can grow our community and make it one.
Inshallah. I mean, Maryam, this one for you, possibly the final question. I know that I've run way out of time. I know, inshallah, we're going to get a very good news on the 19th of September of the arrival of our bundle of joy, inshallah. May it go well. But in the meantime, Maryam, I'd like you to apply your mind as to how collectively here at Salaamedia we can get together and start talking about breaking down those culture and color barriers within the Muslim community. I think that's going to be our next very big debate or topic of discussion. LGBTQT, have I got it right? You know what I mean. LGBTQ plus, how we challenge that in the Muslim community, and then how we break down the cultural and the color barriers within Islam. Two big issues, they need to be tackled head on with respect, with love, and with dignity. Your thoughts, Maryam?
Yes, I completely agree with you, Appa. And regarding the issue about race, culture, religion, etc., I have already been doing it on the Salaamedia platform. I've been talking about interracial marriages. We've spoken about the divide between different Muslims and the challenges that we face. And like Johara mentioned, many of the times we speak from a point of privilege until we put ourselves in a person's situation, then we will truly understand where they're coming from and the challenges that they face. So the conversations have already started regarding the culture, the race, religion, etc. But we need to plant it even more. We need to make it a reality. It shouldn't just start and end on the Salaamedia platform. It should be in our massages. It should be in our homes. We should speak about it all the time, and we should allow our children to get to know people of different races and cultures, etc., and not limit them to just being our house help at home, or the person who does the garden, or the person who assists us in the shopping centers, etc. It doesn't end there. It's not just about us being Muslim, but also about us being people in general and how we integrate with society. Because at the end of the day, people look at us and they look at our character, and that's how they judge us as Muslims. And the issue with the LGBTQ plus community, that is something that I feel a lot of people shy away from, or a lot of people do not want to address it, but it is something that we need to start talking about. I remember when the MJC put a statement out there, there was a bill that was signed, and the bill was signed by many young and old Muslims, which was surprising. And they were opposing the MJC's
Yes.
sentiments regarding the LGBT plus community, and no Muslim media had anything to say about it, which was disappointing. It was perplexing to know that they decided not to take a stance, knowing fully well that we can no longer avoid these issues and these topics. So that will be the next step.
Inshallah.
We will be tackling this, inshallah.
Inshallah. Like I said to Zaid Jadwood at 9 o'clock, I said it's an extremely sensitive issue and it can become very explosive. And I think that's the reason why Muslim media as a whole have been possibly biding their time to see how best, with the guidance of the ulama bodies, should we go forward in tackling the issue and sensitizing our children. But that being said, it is time for us to wrap up. And let me give the last word to you, Johara.
I just want to say that these conversations are necessary. And if the ulama bodies, if the leaders in our communities don't start having a say about it and representing opposition views or whatever it is, we're going to really have a dismal outcome. It's very similar things happened with domestic violence, only it's been swept under the rug over and over again. And until it becomes an exclusive situation, that's when ulama start talking about it. So we need to be proactive as a community because we are raising the next generation. And with that proactive mindset, we can create more engagement with our children and with the youth and educate them. And like Auntie Julie said, it's about dignity, it's about respect, and it's about love. And that's how we need to tackle it. We
Inshallah.
need to tackle it differently to the way our predecessors did with all sensitive topics. And that's my final word.
Ameen, Ameen. And that's where we leave it. All the very, Maryam, to you, all the very best for the 19th, inshallah. Nice having hooked up with you guys yesterday. Till the next time, as always, stay safe. Assalamu alaikum to you. And we're signing off here on News and Views this morning. 16 after 10 exactly. Time for me to wrap up. Thank you for your company. I hope you've enjoyed the discussions this morning. Till tomorrow morning at the same time as always. Assalamu alaikum and Khuda Hafiz from me, Julie Ali. A reminder, inshallah, the next juz 8, will be read or recited by Yasin al-Dosari.